Hello, everyone. This is a video I've been meaning to make for quite some time. And it's how Private Ryan is a movie about female worship. Because Private Ryan is only being rescued to save the feelings of his mother. Otherwise, they wouldn't care about him. Now, this is a video done by Kay and Skittles, and it's a really good video, How Enemies at the Gate Lies to You. And so I suggest you guys go watch his video. It's really good. However, what we're interested is around the 27 mark, right here.
Completely ridiculous. After the beach scene, we're taken to the office of General George C. Marshall, who has learned that one mother has just received news that 3 of her 4 sons have died in battle. The general decides that, in one of the most important moments of the war on the Western Front, the U.S. Army would dedicate resources to finding the surviving Ryan brother and bringing him home. For no other reason than to make this one grieving mother have to suffer a little less.
Yeah, exactly. And you know something? Kay and Skittles, people bought that in the movie. It worked because that is the level of worship that men have for women. Think about it. Almost all wars is men killing other men, taking their stuff and bringing it back home to bribe their women with. That is the greatest motivator to war, at least modern day war, where it's not really necessary. And you, Kay and Skittles, no offense to you, but you are a good representative of the average guy who just has his head in the sand about just how deep the worship goes.
That might seem completely insane to even think about in a war in which so many millions of mothers would be grieving. But it's also...
Yeah, but this particular mother represented all mothers, right? And Private Ryan represents, the ideal son.
So, if this wasn't obvious, complete fiction. The plot and all the main characters in Saving Private Ryan are fictional, which allowed Spielberg a lot of creative freedom without having to worry about, massively slandering a real person. This guy objects to the plan, being the only person in the room with a brain, apparently, saying this is a gross misuse of resources. But then...
Yeah, exactly. But Kay and Skittles, it's no more of gross misuse of resources than a man paying 3 months' salary for an engagement ring, which is just an ornament that he gives to a woman, right? So what's going on in this movie is par for the course for the male psychology.
Then the general reads a letter from Abraham Lincoln, addressed to a grieving mother during the Civil War. And that's it. The discussion is over. The argument is won. Lincoln was invoked, so that's that. Owned, idiot. Lincoln...
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because of course men like to think that they're somehow logical creatures, but they're not. We are emotion driven and instinct driven. And this movie proves it, because that's why the movie did so well, Kay and Skittles. And let me show you something else. This is the untold story of 1381 about the peasants' revolt. And guess what? They motivate their revolt through the worship of females. Listen to this.
But they decided to send commissioners in to chase up the defaulters. And what really sent people over the edge was the brutal, deeply personal way that these commissioners behaved. They go into a village and really start chucking their weight about. What caused most offence was the way they treated village women. These tax officials would stick their hands up young women's skirts to find out if they were virgins or if they were married and therefore eligible to pay the poll tax.
See, I don't believe this 100 at all. 100%, I believe this is false. So Kay and Skittles, it works perfectly with your video talking about, what is it? All these lies, right? All the propaganda. I believe these guys were telling a bunch of bullshit to motivate men to fight against the government.
The peasants' revolt was sparked by this kind of outrageous behaviour.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So I want you to realize, Kay and Skittles, and everyone listening, that men really aren't aware of our own psychology. You talk about the rabbit hole and how deep it goes. Nothing's deeper than the female worship in the male psychology. And by the way, Kane Skittles, thank you for your video. It's really good. I appreciate it. I hope you get all kinds of views. Everyone, goodbye.